Shifting focus now, a routine medical flight, a sudden loss of navigation, and now major questions hanging in the air over whether a US military GPS jamming exercise played a role in a deadly air ambulance crash back in the month of May. A preliminary US government report has put the spotlight on secret electronic warfare testing and its possible impact on civilian aviation. Let's break it down for you. The US National Transportation Safety Board says a C-90 air ambulance crashed in New Mexico shortly after midnight. This was on the 14th of May. The aircraft was flying to pick up a patient when it went down, killing 2 pilots and 2 flight nurses. The crash also sparked a wildfire that burned thousands of acres before firefighters contained it. According to the preliminary report, the pilot contacted air traffic control soon after takeoff and reported that they had lost GPS navigation capability. The report says the controller asked military officials at the nearby White Sands missile range to temporarily stop GPS jamming operations so the crew could be guided safely. Other commercial and private pilots in the area also reported severe GPS interference that night reportedly. The military exercise had allegedly been announced in advance through aviation advisories, warning of possible GPS disruptions reportedly within a 240 nautical mile radius of White Sands missile range. Investigators also found major differences between the aircraft's recorded GPS altitude and its actual flight path. The report says air traffic control later cleared the crew for a visual approach after the pilot reported losing GPS capability and needing heading guidance. The military then resumed the jamming exercise reportedly, and just minutes later, allegedly, the aircraft crashed into mountainous terrain around 22 kilometers northeast of the airport. The US National Transportation Safety Board said this is only a preliminary report and does not identify the final cause of the crash. Investigators are examining the cockpit records, the radar data, and the possible impact of electronic warfare testing on civilian aviation. The US Navy is considered as one of the most powerful and technologically advanced maritime forces in the world. US President Donald Trump aimed to take it even a step further. Back in December, Trump announced a new type of battleship for the US Navy fleet. Any guesses about what he named it? That's right, he named it after himself. The Trump class of warships, the Trump class. In Trump's words, the new naval fleet would be some of the most lethal surface warfare ships and the largest battleship in the history of America. But here's what's happened. Nearly 9 months later, the Trump administration's plan to build America's so-called largest battleship since World War II at a whopping price tag of $275 billion has hit a major hurdle. Rather, many hurdles, ranging from costs, construction, to its actual feasibility altogether. Let's just break this down for you bit by bit. According to a report from the US Congressional Budget Office, the biggest concern here is whether American shipyards can actually build these massive vessels at all in the first place. The US Navy's 2027 shipbuilding plan, released in the month of May, calls for acquiring 15 of these 35,000-ton battleships between 2028 and 2056. The US Congressional Budget Office estimating the first ship would cost about $23.4 billion, while each following ship would carry a price tag of around $18 billion. Those figures are far higher than the earlier projections, by the way. The US Congressional Budget Office says the original estimates were based on conventional propulsion, while the current design calls for nuclear power. The report further highlighting that cost is only a part of the major challenge. It also questions whether the US shipbuilding industry actually has the capacity to even handle a program of this scale. According to the US Congressional Budget Office, the US Navy's plan would more than double the tonnage of large service combatants that shipbuilders must produce by 2035, creating a major industrial challenge as well. The report also pointing to an industry already struggling with delays and cost overruns. So there are multiple concerns here. Last year itself, then U.S. Navy Secretary, in fact, told the U.S. Congress that the U.S. Navy's best shipbuilding program was 6 months behind schedule and 57% over budget. 57%. The U.S. Congressional Budget Office further pointed out that 2 key builders of U.S. surface combatants continue to face production challenges, with the current class destroyers arriving about 5 years late on average. Not just that, the report adds neither shipyard is equipped to build nuclear-powered surface warships. And there's more. The U.S. Congressional Budget Office says every new class of warships comes with a steep learning curve, and first-of-their-kind ships almost always take longer to build and cost more than expected. Sure, even if those challenges are resolved, defense analysts still are raising questions over whether investing hundreds of billions of dollars in massive battleships even makes sense, especially as low-cost drones continue to define modern naval warfare. In West Asia, the Russia-Ukraine war as well, for example. The consequence of the race to conquer space has resulted in a new dangerous phase. Thousands of satellites, discarded rocket parts, other debris are now crowding Earth's orbit, in a way turning space into a high-speed junkyard of sorts, where even a tiny fragment could trigger a catastrophic collision. And that could threaten satellites we depend on for basic communication, navigation, weather forecasting. Let's talk about India. The Indian Space Research Organization says most of its operational satellites face the highest risk because they fly in low Earth orbit, the region up to about 2,000 kilometers above Earth, where the largest concentration of satellites and space debris is found. Out of India's 22 active satellites, 20 operate in low Earth orbit, making them especially vulnerable to collisions. The Indian government says ISRO carried out 20 collision avoidance maneuvers in 2025 and has already executed 9 more in 2026 to keep its satellites safe. As of March 2026, 129 trackable pieces of space debris originating from Indian satellite missions remained in orbit. India is also working with international partners on space debris management. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, the Minister of State for Science and Technology also said that to improve surveillance, ISRO is using the multi-object tracking radar at Sriharikota to monitor large objects in low Earth orbit. An optical telescope nearing completion in Ladakh will soon be able to track objects 30 centimeters or larger in geostationary orbit. The growing danger is not limited to Earth's orbit. Earlier, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that had been drifting through space crashed into the moon at around 8,700 kilometers per hour, leaving a crater estimated to be about 100 feet wide and 16 feet deep. Further, in a way, underlining the growing threat that debris poses in the increasingly crowded space environment. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.